Hello everyone and welcome to another video right here on the YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going through my updated 2023 AFL Draft Power Rankings. I did one about a month or two ago, and I'm going to go through some changes that I have in the top 10 potentially, and I'll also go through some other names outside of the top 10 to keep an eye out on, because the top 10 is still pretty much the same. But there's a lot of guys bunched from 10 or 11 to 35 really that you could raffle up. So that's why I'm going to name my top 10, then go through some other names that are going to be in the 11 to 35 range. Now, please remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Want to aim for 20 likes on this video, smash the like button. I'll greatly appreciate it. And please subscribe if you haven't already. You're watching this, please subscribe. With a lot of AFL, AFLW, draft content, interviews, the whole lot. Weekly podcasts for AFL and AFLW, matchday vlogs at AFL and AFLW. So go and check that out. And there's no other reason why you wouldn't subscribe. If you like footy, you should subscribe here. And I am frequently posting on here and on Instagram, AFL Info Live. Right. Now, let's go through my top 10 updated power rankings. At pick 1, I still have Harley Reid. I mean, has some great performances throughout the year. He's been the number 1 pick for 2 years at least. So why would it change now? Now, keep in mind, this is a power rankings. It's not a phantom draft. At some point, I'll do a phantom draft when the AFL season's over, so we'll know officially what picks clubs will start with. But then there's a trade period. So you can get changed all over again during the trade period. In fact, it would. Because Gold Coast, for example, won't have pick 4. So we'll probably do it actually after the trade period. Anyway, so pick 1, I've gone Harley Reid. The clear standout option for me, been clear, dominant. May have been injured a little bit lately. Missed a game here, missed a game there. But his performances when he's been playing have been ultra consistent and ultra great, ultra professional, ultimate professional, and a great player as well. So he'll go pick 1, whoever has that. This is, remember, just a power ranking, purely just ranking the best players right now. At number 2, I've gone Jed Walter, the key forward from the Gold Coast Suns Academy. He kicks in a bag of goals. Been injured lately as well, so I haven't seen him as much. But he was the next choice for me. At pick 3, this is the move so far in my top 10. It's at number 3, up from 4th to 3rd, Zane Dersma. He's kicked over 30 goals in 10 games. I think it's 33 goals in 10 or 11 games. Fantastic from Zane. He's kicked some bags of 4s and 5s and 6s in the last 6 weeks of the season. He's been terrific. Also a great person, great player. Can play a far forward and even push through the midfield. He's had real dominant performance for Gippsland Power in the under-18 in the Coach League. Played well for the Vic Metro side and countryside. And he deserves this ranking. He'll go up very highly in the draft. At pick 4, he slid down 1 spot, no fault of his own. Just him being injured just slid him down 1 spot, and that's Colby McKercher for the Tasmanian. There'll be a few Tasmanians in this top 20, 30 range this season compared to many other seasons. Colby, terrific person, great player, inside mid, averaged like 32 possessions over the national championships for the Allies. Terrific midfielder. He's the complete midfielder. He's got great ball use, skills, decision maker, good kick, a left footer. So he'll be one to keep an eye on. The best pure mid in this year's draft is Colby McKercher. At pick 5, I've gone still Nick Watson. Contemplating a few others, but I've gone with the Wizard, as they call him, the small forward pocket rocket, loves a goal, loves a celebration. Any club that wants a small forward and an X-factor player, an impactful player, look no further than Nick Watson. The club like the Bombers and clubs around it that have got around the pick 5 mark will be licking their lips and hoping they can get Nick Watson. At number 6, I've gone the West Australian versatile Dan Curtin. Can play as a key defender, can play as a key forward, can play some up in the midfield a little bit. He's that versatile. In the championship, he played up forward for a little bit, then pushed in the defence. But yeah, he's a great player, another good person. All these guys are good people. But yeah, he's had a really good championships, and that's what he was already up at the top echelon of draft picks, and those championship performances from Dan Curtin shot him up to top 5 contention, potentially top 3. Or even pick 2 if West Coast have pick 2 if they trade back, etc. At pick 7, I've gone the Sandringham Dragon, Riley Sanders, an inside mid, terrific mid, an accumulator, averaged over 30 disposals for the championships, played for the Allies in the championships, but yet plays for Sandringham Dragons. Was born elsewhere, then moved, boarding schools I think it was, and he moved. So that's why you see him floating between the two sides, the Allies and Sandringham Dragons. They're in a prelim final this week. Sandy Dragons, they win. I think they're playing Geelong Falcons. They'll push through to the grand final. The strongest club are the Sandringham Dragons. If you go see my interview with their coach, Rob Harding, you would know what I'm talking about. They're a strong, fantastic team down at the Sandy Dragons, always producing the most draftee crop each and every year. Riley Sanders is their best player in this year's draft this season. Also, at pick 8, I've gone Gold Coast Academy ruckman Ethan Reid. Another guy that will be bidded early, Jake Rogers, will be around this mark as well. So Gold Coast will end up training pick 4. He's a good future ruckman, for the successor for Jared Witts. We all know that's where it's heading. Witts has probably got 2 or 3 years left. And then Ethan Reid will slot straight in and be a great replacement for Witsy. Good ruckman, likes to get a lot of ball. Bit of a shy character, but a good play nonetheless. And for a ruckman, he does get a bit of the ball, so that's a good asset of his that he will want to bring into AFL, because there's not many ruckmen that get a lot of the ball. And Ethan Reid could be that type of Tim English, Rowan Marshall ruckman that could get a lot of the ball. At number 9, got Nate Caddy. Had some good performances in the championships and for his coach league club as well. Kicked some goals at 4. Has showed some tricks. Medium-sized forward, similar to what his cousin Josh Caddy was at Richmond, Geelong, and Gold Coast. That similar type of player. But yeah, I have him at 9. And my number 10, got Connor O'Sullivan, the Allies key defender, a very good player, and deserves a spot in the top 10. Could go higher depending on the club and the need. But yeah, Connor O'Sullivan is the best key defender option in this year's draft. So there's my updated power rankings for the top 10. It did change. The only change in that top 10 was Zane Dursman went up from 4 to 3, and Colby McCutcheon slid from 3 to 4. No fault of his own. You could raffle either one of those two up. It's that hard to choose. I've just gone with Zane purely because he's played the last month and done terrific. Colby's out with a little minor ankle injury at the moment. Could even play as early this week for Tassie in the Coach League prelim finals. Now, that's the top 10. I'll revisit it. Number 1, Harley Reid. 2, Jed Walter. 3, Zane Dursman. 4, Colby McCurcher. 5, Nick Watson. 6, Dan Curtin. 7, Riley Sanders. 8, Ethan Reid. 9, Nate Caddy. And 10, Connor O'Sullivan. A lot of draft experts have the same top 10. They pretty much have the similar order as well. It's more the bracket outside of that from 11 to 35 range. You could raffle up some names. So let's go through some of those names. Okay, so some names I've got outside. I've named about 50 names. I've named about 15 names here. James Leake, a Tasmanian, playing defence, really good player. Could go as early as 11, around the 11 to 20 range. Could slide out. I feel he's worth being a pick in the 11 to 20 range. At Tasmanian, he'll be a good pickup for whoever can get James Leake. Good mates with Colby McCurcher as well. George Stevens, Geelong Falcon. Good midfielder. He's an accumulator, and he'd be a good pickup for any club wanting some pure inside mids. I know Essendon love some inside mids, so if they have a pick around the mark, I'm sure they'll be looking at George Stevens. Mitch Edwards from WA, young ruckman, the next best ruck option after Ethan Reid. So really, Ethan Reid's going to be on the Gold Coast. So really, if a club wants a ruckman at the top end, Mitch Edwards is one of those two guys, along with Will Green, a young ruckman from Victoria as well. He could be one to keep an eye out on as well. Archer Reid, Archie Roberts, both from Victoria. Archie Roberts from the Sandringham Dragons, Archer Reid from the Gippsland Power. Archer Reid, key forward. If you want to key forward, he's one of the options there. Archer Roberts, bit of a utility, can play wing, half forward. Someone, if you want that versatility, got a bit of height about him. He could be one to keep an eye on there. Harry Di Mattia you remember him, the long locks. If you people remember him, he famously was a substitute fielder in the Australian Test Series all those years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And he took a, actually might not even been that long ago. Jeez, time flies. When you're having fun, they say. Yeah, he took a substitute catch. I don't know who the cricketer was he caught for England. I think it was against. But yeah, he took a catch there. That's what he was famously known by. Playing cricket, obviously. Changed to footy recently, and he's done very well in the Coates League. Did really well. Represented Vic Metro, not Vic Country. Vic Metro, and done pretty well there. And he has had a good Coates League, and he could be a smoky for a top 10 spot. Also, Colton Tholstrup, who I interviewed recently from WA, got the long hair, got the mullet, good player, very nice play for WA off the back line. He could be a really good selection as well. Not just saying that because I interviewed him. He could be a dark horse like Harry Di Mattia in that 10 to 20 range as well. Will McCabe, father-son from SA, but he's linked to Hawthorn. He'll go there. Riley Hardiman, another guy from Perth like Colton. Really good backman as well. So another half-back flanker. Could be a good option for club looking for a medium-sized defender or running half-back. Ollie Murphy, a really tall player for the Ollie Murphy is from the Sandringham Dragons. Can play as a key position player. I know some clubs that are looking at key position would be looking at someone like Ollie Murphy down in the back line. Jake Rogers, a part of Gold Coast's academy. He bid it on between 10 and 20. So Gold Coast will have to accumulate some points there. Jordan Croft, Bulldogs academy, father-son. He'll go there. Will the bid come between 10 and 30? The Bulldogs aren't so sure. It's probably more between 10 and 25 than after. So the Bulldogs have to get creative with their picks 10 and 17. I think they got right now. They have to trade it looking at Gold Coast's pick 4, the talk is. And obviously there'll be picks and swaps around that to satisfy both those two clubs. Caleb Windsor, a midfielder, he's shot up recently. It was linked around the 30 in some people's draft rankings, and then he's shot up to around 15. So really good form in the championships recently, and for his Coates League club, and he's shot up the rank as a midfielder in inside mid as Caleb Windsor. Lockie Charlson, a guy who kicked 8 goals not too long ago. Just interviewed his coach recently, David Loader from the Rebels. Lockie Charlson had kicked 8 goals, kicked a couple of 4 goals performances as well. He's a bolter, legitimately, anywhere from the 20 to 40 range. But he could be one to keep an eye on. He could be the bolter. I want you to clip this, people. Lachlan Charlson could be the one that goes from outside the 30 to inside the top 15. Keep an eye out on that. Just got that feeling. There's not many guys that kick 8s and 4s and 4s repeatedly that aren't in the top 10, 15. So he could shoot himself up. Look, I think he could be probably around the 30s. But if he goes around 15, I'm not going to say I'm shocked. So clip that. Some other names here, just 4 more to go through. Two Giath, the brother of CJ of Changworth Giath. He's shot up the draft ranking as well. Cal Toomey's a big fan of his and thinks that he's part of the Hawks NGA Academy. With the ruling of pick 40, the bid would have to come after 40 for them to be able to match under that academy rule. So Cal expects him to get a bid before that, which means that the Hawks won't get him. The bid can't be matched inside the 40. Bit confusing, I get some people say, but that's what it is. Darcy Wilson's around the 20 to 30 mark for me, from Victoria as well. And finally, Michael Rudd, the man I interviewed from my Gold King Challenge, the Geelong Falcons captain, had some really good form for the Geelong Falcons. They're in a prelim this week. Michael is their captain, been in great form for them. Loves kicking a goal. He's a good kicker. As you guys will know, if you didn't know who he was, you do now through my channel. Michael's a ripper guy, as you've seen in the video. Still chat to him from time to time. He's a ripper guy. He's doing really well for the Falcons. And he's a guy who could get picked up from anywhere between 25 and 40. And as you would know, he's just happy to be drafted anywhere. He doesn't care what pick it is. So hopefully Michael as his dream fulfilled, and I think he will. And he could be from 25 to 45. So all the best, Michael. Key forward. If you want to keep forward, again, there's not many in that list that I just named. Probably about 5, if that. So, and Walter's going to Gold Coast to the academy. Mitch Edwards is a ruckman. Archer Reed is one. Jordan Croft is the Bulldogs academy, and then there's Michael Rudd. So, yeah, so they're the taller options, and a lot of them are linked to academies or father sons. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Would greatly appreciate it. Until the next video, everyone, have a great one. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints. And, of course, acknowledge me, the one. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. And leave a like on this video. There'll be more draft content and more to come. Go Saints. Go Saints.